history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of Between the Headlines on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jar, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Some days ago, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings of the Alternative National Congress / CPP appointed or announced Team Cummings 2023. Well, that announcement based on some names that were part of Team Cummings 2023, some members or some supporters of Mr. Cummings had some issues with it. One of those is my guest tonight, Mr. Patrick Tuon, who is a staunch member of the who is a staunch supporter of Mr. Cummings. Mr. Patrick Tuon, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Mr. Jar, thank you very much. I'm honored to be invited to your show, your platform, and hope that we will have a fruitful discussion.
Thank you. Okay, again, Mr. Tuon is a supporter of Mr. Cummings, but tonight's topic is the fallout from the Team Cummings selection. Mr. Cummings selected his team, and there were certain names that Patrick did not like on that team, and he's here to talk about that. But he said a lot since the announcement, and we are here to go into everything that he said. But let's first start. This is your first time on Focus on Liberia. We are glad to have you, and we give you our bottle of water and say welcome. You're at home.
Okay, so that it can pass through your studio. I get it.
That's the ceremonial. So let's start briefly by saying who is Patrick Tuon. Those of us who have interacted with you over the years, we know a little bit. But tell, for the sake of my viewing audience, who is Patrick Tuon?
Okay. I am a Liberian national living in the United States who is passionate about Liberia. I left Liberia many years ago, but that was in physically left Liberia, but emotionally have been attached to Liberia. I have followed Liberian politics like I follow my religion. And I can detect a failure based on the trend that is going on in Liberian politics. I'm a former member or former president of the Liberian Community Association in the Washington metropolitan area. I was president from 1990 to 1992, and it was during the height of the war. So it was a very busy period for me. I also was the founding president of Marylander for Progress. It's an organization which is affiliated with the National Maryland County Association here in the United States. I was the founding president and first president. My current activities is surrounding human rights. I am the general coordinator of the Liberian Human Rights Campaign, and I have been passionately pushing the best human rights practices in Liberia. And I also a champion of the War and Economic Crime Code that are supposed to be coming to Liberia very soon.
Thank you, Mr. Tuon. We want to welcome all viewers from across the globe. Please tune in. We are about to discuss what we are here for. That is the fallout from the Team Cummings selections, the issues Mr. Tuon has with those who are on the list. But let me start, Mr. Tuon, about your political leaning. Those of us who follow you for a long time, long time, you're a member of the Progressives. Just walk us through your political leaning, your affiliation, and how you got affiliated with Tim Cummings, and if you are a member of the ANC. So let's go through that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I used to be a member of the Liberian People's Party. In fact, I served as one of the chairmen here in the United States, just within the period of the war. When the war came, the party and many other, organization, political organization, disintegrated. People went their different ways, and I have been with a political party since then. But during that time, I was, very busy with Liberian politics, and it gave me a way to develop some independent thinking. So most of my politics now is strictly independent. I support Mr. Cummings, but I'm not a member of ANC. Most people find it difficult to make that difference, but you can do that. My support is with Alexander Cummings. I like his ideas, and those ideas I'm committed to them too. I have been promoting Mr. Cummings since 2016. I have written maybe 60 or 65 articles on his ideas, his campaign, and you can see from that how close I have been working with his campaign. I'm now a member of Team Cummings. I'm an independent supporter of Mr. Cummings.
So, Mr. Tuon, what drew you to Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings?
When the 2017 election was approaching, I have the habit of writing, all the time. So I started writing about some series called The Unusual Candidate. I said 2017, we don't want the same old people, coming back. We want somebody new, someone with fresh ideas. And as I kept writing, people who knew Mr. Cummings, his intention, started to call me. So, but man, if first some people were asking me, so Mr. Tuon, the kind of candidate you want, who are you thinking about? And I would tell them, no, I don't know the person. So as time went on, those who knew Mr. Cummings, including some relative of mine, they got in touch with me and said, look, exactly what you're writing about, we got somebody who can fit that profile. And they called Mr. Cummings' name. And then one day I was reading something that he said. When he said 170 years is too long a time for a country to keep getting it wrong. I said, wow. No, that was an indictment of our entire leadership because we keep getting it wrong. Then he said, he told the Liberian people that if you keep electing the same people with the same experiences, don't expect anything different. That was the crown jewel of my support for that. I said, I think I will go with this guy. Because he's saying things that are making a lot of sense. They are profound and they are hitting right at the center of our problems. So this is how.
So this had nothing to do with you, both you and Mr. Cummings coming from Maryland County.
No, I learned about that long after I started supporting him.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned about that. In fact, when I went from Maryland County, Mr. Cummings follows village. My auntie who read me, we have farmland there. They call the place Breaking. In fact, the chief, I was around about 14 years, 15 years. I used to help to read the chief's letters. So when they say he came from Cape Palmas, I said, oh, hey, that John Palmer wasting John rest,
Okay.
So I continued. Then when some of his opponents, they started linking him, say he was an American Liberian, or he was an American citizen. Like, if to say that it was illegal for American Liberian to be president anymore.
You know.
Yeah, so as the argument going on, then someone sent me the news. Said, no, that man, he from Waken. He had knew the town. So I said, okay, let's move on. So that I got close to him.
So since then, what have been your involvement with the Cummings or team, meaning those who support Cummings, ANC party, ANC global? What has been your involvement, or you just been a lone wolf?
Well, as I said, I'm an independent person.
Yeah, but you got to work with some people.
Yeah, I'm an independent person, and I have, not to brag, I have a vast knowledge of Liberian politics. So my role I have been playing is to strengthen public perception about Mr. Cummings. When he first got in the race, people didn't, some of the people are talking about him now, they didn't even want to hear his name. In fact, when I write something about him, they were attacking me. So I saw that he's a new person, and for this person to get his feet wet with his idea, we need to strengthen public perception about him, bringing him, connecting him to the solution of the country. So all my writing has been like that. When he give a speech, I capture excerpts of the speech, and I blow it all into a full-blown article.
Mr. Tuon, did you get to know Mr. Cummings personally? Did you sit with him to get his idea? Did you ask him questions? Did you visit him?
Well,
did you talk to him one-on-one?
I spoke with Mr. Cummings the first time. It was before he went for the 2017 election. My cousin introduced me to him, and we spoke on the phone. And then he asked me, he heard some of the things I was doing, and he said he would be glad if I support him. But it was now a contract that we signed, said no. So I said, okay. And then we met at a ANC retreat in 2019. And he and I personally, we interacted. But we don't interact, on a consistent basis.
Okay. Did you get any compensation? Were you on Mr. Cummings' payroll, or did he give you any money or anything for that of value?
No, no. I like what I do because I do it for Liberia. I could have done it for anybody. Let me tell you this. I supported Vani Sherman in 2005. Okay? Vani Sherman, he now crewman, he now grown man, he's right. So my role here is I believe I have a little gifted knowledge about Liberia that I need to spread. Okay? And when election coming, I usually want to see if there's somebody there who can benefit from an idea. It's no compensation. I don't look out there for money.
Right.
In fact, I'm not looking for a job. I'm not looking for just one day I can go to Kipamans and relax on the beach and be safe. That's it.
Right. So because one thing between Mr. Cummings and Mr. Sherman, both of them have money. So when people say that, they say, oh, okay, we think Nimla Tuon is being paid to do this. You are saying no money involved.
No one would say that.
All right. Mr. Tuon, and I follow your writing and you know that for a long time.
Yeah.
At some point we disagree. You've been supporting Mr. Cummings, and we see some of your writing. Take a look at one of this. Clean hands. This is from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Cummings, the women, the elders, the young people, they are all supporting Mr. Cummings. You are this technology guy, you know how to get these things done. And this one, you say, "Reapers beware! A new sheriff is coming to town," and that's Mr. Cummings. And you come to the point, you compare with Weir that, hey, what has Weir done for Cummings? Here are the things. So you've been very, very consistent in your support for Mr. Cummings. My question to you is,
I don't have no regrets.
yeah, my question to you is, with all this, that you weigh all the candidates, and you found that Mr. Cummings was the best of the bunch.
Yes.
All right. Now come, very recently, Mr. Cummings announced his team. And since the announcement, you have been publishing, you have been posting, you are not happy. Let's go through a few of the things you have written so far. And I don't know if you knew that I researched this before interviewing you. He said, Team Cummings' current composition is too corruption leaning, embedded with war crimes perpetrators, completely unacceptable. You went on, current composition of Team Cummings will be too difficult to ignore, can be the enablers of the change Mr. Cummings keeps talking about. Out of 6 million people in Liberia, why keep bringing only the same people in every government? The same few families keep enjoying while the rest suffer, as namely Tuon. And you are naming names now. Toga McIntosh, Louis Brown, and others must resign and tell ABC, that's Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, that they don't want to be a distraction. That's what good politicians do. We will support Mr. Cummings' right and quest for the presidency, but we too have the right not to support those he has surrounded himself. Those are just few of what you wrote, Mr. Tuon.
And I stand by them.
Right. Why? What's the problem with this team that you are having and you keep writing? You keep writing.
Okay. You see, everything I do, my conscience have to survive. I don't do something then later start regretting. As I told you, I follow Mr. Cummings' ideas. People I support politically, I don't follow them. I'm not a follower. Mother Salif, Dr. Sawyer, Poema Formula, all these people, I work with them. But I like to take on ideas. So whatever difference you are noticing in me right now concerning Mr. Cummings, it's not against Mr. Cummings. He has the right to name who all he want to put in there. But I saw a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The contradiction speaks to a statement he made in the past that if Liberians continue to elect or appoint the same kind of people all the time with the same experiences, don't expect anything new. So that statement and this Team Cummings are completely inconsistent. And it will be difficult, to ignore that. So okay, it's just another appointment. Let's move forward. No, I have to clear my conscience. Let them people know that I disagree with the composition of Team Cummings.
Let me put on the list of Team Cummings and tell me exactly what you disagree with about this list.
Well, I don't know everybody there, but those that I know, I can tell you. Louis Brown. Louis Brown was the Minister of Presidential Affairs with Mr. Taylor, under Taylor regime. Louis Brown is accused of economic crimes. Okay? Not only that, individually he was accused of economic crime. The entire ministry that he was heading, Ministry of Presidential Affairs, was also accused for economic crimes. So, on the heat of this appointment by Mr. Cummings,
You said presidential affairs. I don't remember. He was a security advisor. He was also
both.
Okay.
I think what 2003 to 2002 to 2003. Yeah. So this appointment came on the heels of Mr. Cummings telling Joshua to get rid of what his name, Nathaniel Magee. You remember now, Nathaniel Magee is also Minister of Presidential Affairs, right?
Right.
So what is seemed to be Mr. Cummings is saying is that the corruption that happened in the past, you forget it. Let you deal with the one that happening now. And I saw that as a contradiction because the potency of corruption, it don't weaken because of time. In fact, the condition we are facing today, our people are facing today, it was planted during the time Louis Brown, Tucker McIntyre, all the people were Taylor. So at that contradiction, I was disappointed. You know, after you say Joshua on get rid of what's his name, Magee for the sanctions, Louis Brown is sanctioned. The TRC report sanctioned him. Okay, so there was somewhere there I didn't see, and then let's say a little due diligence.
Right.
Whether Mr. Cummings read the TRC report. Well, before we go over, let me say this. You know, there are 3 documents every Liberian should be familiar with if you want to partake in the current discourse of our politics. That's the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, the Reconciliation Act is the law that created the TRC Commission, and the TRC report. These 3 documents, if you're not familiar with them, you'll always be on the wrong side of the issue when it comes to Liberian politics. So this Tim Cummings is an indication that maybe those Mr. Cummings asked to do the recruiting or background, did not read these documents. Because if you read the TRC report, these people are prominent display there, and they tell you what they did. So how can anyone overlook that when all the fire is pointing at Joshua because of those same things?
Right. So you name Louis Brown. You name Toga McIntosh Gateway. That's 2.
Yeah, Mr. McIntosh. McIntosh.
Get some water.
Yeah, don't go get some water. Right.
Yeah, get some water. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in conversation with Mr. Patrick Nimlan Tuon. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Focus on Labrador. Mr. Tuon, you have 2 presidents. Mr. Cummings has 44
okay.
persons on that team.
We're talking about Tucker McIntosh, right?
Right.
Okay, but we need to go a little bit more on Tucker McIntosh. Okay, Tucker McIntosh is the brainchild behind the National Patriotic Party. Tucker McIntosh worked hand in hand with Charles Taylor during the war. Tucker McIntosh is a full-fledged member of the NPFL. Today, we are celebrating the Octopus. The 29-year Octopus anniversary is today. Mr. McIntosh, according to reports, he worked with Taylor when these rockets were flying over Monrovia on the day of
Mr. Tuon learned that is not true because he left Taylor to join the IGNU when he went on that.
No, he left IGNU. The IGNU
So
was after he left IGNU.
I learned, I'm not sure, but I learned he left before Octopus, and he was in Monrovia by the time Octopus was being, the brackets were being fired.
No.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. But besides that, let's say, one of the problems I have with this team, they serve in every post-war government in Liberia.
But what's wrong with that?
Because we need wealth distribution. You can't keep giving the same people money all the time.
So what's the issue we have with them? Is there a human rights record, or is it because they are serving in every government?
The team comment has three implications: political implication, legal implication, and moral implication.
Okay.
I'm telling you about the moral implication right now.
Okay.
You can't keep giving the same group of family the money all the time. This government come in, the same family, the other government come in, the same family. The wealth needs to be spread. You can't keep the money in their hands just few person.
But this is not work, right? They are not being appointed as minister. This is a team.
Yeah, because the campaign team, 90% of the time is the administration. So that's something everybody know. No one can tell me, say, when these people play, whether they will make Cummings to win or not. After they win, they will pack and leave. We'll be hearing people say, "Oh, they don't want make Cummings win, and you're not want them to be in the government." It will be another argument. So that is something that is part of politics. The people on the campaign team always end up in the government. Okay. So as I said, then we come to the legal thing. The legal thing. The TRC report, as I said, there's a law called the Truth and Reconciliation Act. In that law, they said if you need enter the TRC report, those who they will list as perpetrator in the TRC report are banned for 30 years from politics. Okay, 30 years. That's a legal, that's the legal implication. Whether Mr. Manaseli ignore that law or George Weah is ignoring this law, we not think Mr. Cummings should know, because this man telling us he's bringing change. You see, we want to find a little space of the change he's bringing. And this particular one, having the same old people that he said, when you elect, they will not bring, you don't expect anything different. You bring it there, and these people violated the law. Okay, Mr. Cummings, I don't think he want to start violating the law right in his campaign.
Mr. Tuon, one supporters of Mr. Cummings are saying is the TRC is not law, right? Those were recommendations, right? And
no. The TRC is a law.
It's not being made law yet.
Now you'll get a handbill. Go to the foreign ministry right now. Send somebody to get a handbill.
I don't know about the TRC being law, and the TRC was not a
The TRC was passed by the interim legislative assembly. There's a handbill. The guy will handbill all the law that is promulgated in Liberia. The foreign minister will publish a handbill. This was done in 2004. Okay, and it's both, it's not only national law, it's both international law. So you can't waive a international law because you disagree with what you call your national law. Okay, the crimes that these people are accused of are international crimes. Okay, the TRC report, the TRC law said any recommendation that is made by the commission is binding. That's why I was telling you now. If people read these documents I mentioned, they'll see all these things. They say the recommendation by the TRC report is binding. The TRC should not give amnesty to those they accuse for major perpetrator level. Horatio Moriah, number one, he's a major perpetrator. Daniel Chia, he's a major perpetrator. They can't give them amnesty. So anyone who said the Truth and Reconciliation Act is not law, that's false. Yes. Okay. That's false. There's a law. That's a Liberian law.
Right. So let's look at it this way. What also Mr. Cummings supporters are saying is Mr. Cummings said he's going to build a big tent for all Liberians. These are Liberians, right? They has not gone to court to say, well, you are guilty of XYZ crime. So in the interim, do we exclude them? Do we just cast them away? These are Liberians. They want to work. They can contribute. So they say, this is an example of the big tent Mr. Cummings is trying to do.
I see that as hypocrisy.
How so?
Because their activities, let's take for instance Horatio Moriah, Daniel Chia, they're involved in killings. They kill people. Are you saying those people they kill, they're not Liberians? When do we bring up this? We are Liberian issue. When do we bring it up? The rape women, women's stomach were open. The open women's stomach take out the babies. Who was saying that time that
those are allegations? Those are allegations. Those are allegations.
You say it's an allegation? Okay, yeah, they have a right to challenge it. But who's stopping who fighting against the TRC report? Who undermining the TRC report? They are the same people. If I were on that list, I would insist that I clear my name. I would go to court. But they don't want to go to court because they are guilty of the hell. Okay, so that's not an excuse.
Right. So
these people, the number declared that we are all Liberians.
Right.
Time for them to account for the deal. Oh, they took on we are Liberian. I'm sorry. You don't have. They want to have their cake and eat it. They're not going to have their cake and eat it. When their rebels were slaughtering innocent people, they were Liberians. Okay, they were slaughtering. They were raping women. Look at Prince Johnson had 28 women at gunpoint in his basement. Taylor Major property he took over. Are those women not Liberians?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so this is a flawed argument to say that because we're asking for accountability for these perpetrators, then we are all Liberian. No, I don't believe. To me, it's a crap.
So what do we do with them now?
The TRC report must be implemented.
So while we wait for the TRC to be implemented, what do we do with those who have been mentioned?
We're not supposed to wait for it. The government of Liberia should implement the TRC report. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf should have implemented or started to implement the TRC report. She violated that. Josh Yakin, he went and made a big show at the UN the other day. He said he was going to, one time came, he did nothing. Right now, there are over 200 recommendations that Liberia need to implement to make Liberia fold in the international community. Out of those 200 recommendations, there are 47 of those recommendations are the TRC report recommendation. And the law said they are banning. I want you to understand that. This is why I said the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, the Reconciliation Act, and the TRC report itself. If you want to really discuss Liberian politics and be on the right side, people gotta read these documents. What we are doing, what we say here is people expressing their opinion. Show me one country that will ever build on people's opinion. No, we have a framework, legal framework. Let argue within that framework. Okay, all these people deserve due process. Okay,
I listened to Mr. Cummings just less than an hour ago when he was asked that very question, that his association with people like this, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing him, he said, there are not many people with the experience who appeal, especially when it comes to Liberia. So as he's working with people, and he said he's being in the position where he hires people. He's bring people on board, and so he's kind of direct them. He's able to bring people and fire them if they are not doing what they're supposed to do. So if you look at those two, that Liberia, there's a group of people. He said there are not many people with the requisite experience that are pure.
Okay, I will start with Mr. Cummings himself. He doesn't have political experience. Okay, but Mr. Cummings, he learning, you know, if we go by that logic, then we should keep electing the people who've been president in the past. Elect we are again, re-elect we are. Okay, so I don't know how he came up with that. You know, they keep saying that. Okay, they keep saying that. I see that as a cover for them to keep bringing these people. Mr. Cummings spoke about web distribution. Yeah, one of the things I wrote on that too. Web distribution, to redistribute web. So how we'll do that if we keep giving the same old people, the government money? Now,
so tell me, did you not discuss these things, beforehand with Mr. Cummings? When you talk with Mr. Cummings, did you ask him about his position on the TRC recommendation?
Yes.
Yeah. How did that conversation go?
He said,
because let me say, in 2017, Mr. Cummings said war crime code was not a priority. The issue was purely economics, that as long as people had, the economy was good, people were going to more or less not focus on war crimes court. Later on, probably 2 years ago, he said he has evolved, and now he supports the TRC war crimes recommendation, the war crimes court. So to what extent did you, because you've been doing this TRC, being a champion of this, the cause for war crime court for a long time, so to what extent did you vet Mr. Cummings' resolve to support and stand behind the war economic crimes court?
Okay, in 2019, at a retreat with ANC retreat, I went there and I told him if they have their records will reflect that. I say you need to endorse the TRC report and urge him not to wait until election time to do it. Then people will look at it as some kind of political thing. He said, Patrick, we'll do it. They were supposed to have gone to some convention, the party convention. It was in 2020. That's when I thought you were going to announce it, that he endorsed the TRC report, but he didn't do it. He had an interview on one of your competitors, and he spoke about the TRC report. He said he supported, but he said it was it had been too long, so people need to look at it and see where what it is. And I urged him, like my person and all the people that are close to him, I said, no, he need to come out and say he support the TRC report and he will implement it. And he came out with a video specifically to say he endorsed the TRC report and he was going to fight against impunity and all that. So that was enough for me. Because when I started supporting Cummings, people are saying, Patrick, don't you think you are being inconsistent here? Because your question that you just posed, statement that he said in the past that the TRC report was, it's going to be, what did he say about some economic thing? You remember what he said?
Yeah, he said the thing was merely economic, that when people have food to eat, people were employed, war crimes code wouldn't matter that much. That was during the debate, the 2017 debate, he said, and I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. So, and later on, he involved with this.
Right. And I asked him on this network, and he said he has involved.
In fact, when he was in Nigeria recently, the interview that he had in Nigeria, they asked him, what will you do different? He said he will fight against impunity, past impunity and present. That's what he said. And he talked about what you call the TRC report. So there's no other way, some people, there's a doubt that he wasn't thinking about that.
So Mr. Tuon, if because Mr. Cummings have these guys on who I mentioned in the TRC, and we talk about Louis Brown, Dan Marias, and Adam Daniel Chia, right? If they are, because they are on his team, are you saying if he becomes president, he's not going to allow TRC report because of these guys on his team? Or is he not going to hold them accountable for what they did in the past because they're on his team? Is that your fear?
Yeah, but in the first place, he's violating the law. If he have them on his team and put them in the gun, the TRC is a law. And the law said these people are banned. All appointed officials, elected officials who name are listed in all the 3 categories: supporter of violence, economic crimes, and war crime. If your name fall within those one of the categories, you are banned for 30 years. It's a law. So we cannot.
No, Mr. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't want to agree that that's a law because that particular provision was tested at the Supreme Court. And
the Supreme Court?
Yeah, the Supreme Court. Because they didn't want.
When was it tested at the Supreme Court?
Because President Salih was also banned for 30 years.
Okay, how will you go test something that you know will implement? The TRC, if they are implemented TRC and the conclusion was
no, the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional for them to ban anyone for 30 years.
Well, I don't know how they came with that, because it's unconstitutional to charge anybody for war crime in Liberia. Liberian law doesn't have it. But it's an international crime. You can't use national law to suppress international crime. National law, that the people of a country come together and make national law. International law is everybody in the world. In the UN, then you say your national law takes supremacy over international law. It doesn't happen that way.
Let me look at some of the things you've been saying. You said Team Cummings needs to be recalibrated to reflect or become the source of change Liberia seeks. Current composition does not. Many great leaders of the world did not work with everybody, but work for everybody with few credible people with shared vision and ideas. That's why when Mr. Cummings and the group said Mr. Cummings wants to work with everybody, you are saying no. Also, he said we may not be electing a saint, we must not groom a dictator by our silence. Raising observation on your political leader's decision is prudent. Sycophancy is never a political strategy, but a prolonged deception that may end in distrust and defeat. Politically speaking, nameless Tuon writes, working with everybody is not backed by any political philosophy or doctrine. That is why there are political parties.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you even said they should cancel the election, right? You said no. You wrote this. You said for Mr. Cummings.
That was a joke.
I know, and that's what you meant. You said for Mr. Cummings, it doesn't matter who you are. He's willing to work with anyone. So why should there be election? Yeah. And the person who's supposed to recruit the agents of change is having second thoughts, but recruiting individuals who have sowed the seeds of poverty among the Liberian people, including those who actually murder innocent people.
Yeah, Mr. Jai, you did a lot of research, which I already admire. Okay, tell me one country where the leader is working with all the people. Show me one country that the leader working with all the people. In America, you don't work with all the people. That's why they form political parties. The political party then put up program for all the people. Okay, you don't work for no leader. I did research too. No leader in this world or in history who work for all the people. Who work with all the people. This is why they have these cemented groups in politics, because people don't have the same ideas. How can you work with all the people? No one done that.
So what do you want Mr. Cummings to do at this point? Because another thing they are saying is, hey, we have 44 persons. Why are you picking out just 4 or 5 persons? I mean, are they?
There are a lot of research on the way. It's not the 44 people alone. These people that we talking about now, the information is available. The information is verified. The information cannot be denied. So we are sticking with that. It doesn't mean that the other people we are giving a pass. As we get more information, these people will be discussing it. This just came when last Wednesday.
So you've been supporting Mr. Cummings. You talk to him here and there. Have you been able to talk to him and say, Chief, I don't agree with this?
Well, let me come back. As I told you, I'm an independent person. Okay. I deal with independent issues that will be in the country that will help the country. Mr. Cummings must don't have the camaraderie, to be meeting here and discuss strategy. I talk with people who are very close to him all the time. And sometimes I will convey my concern.
And what are they telling you?
Well, they'll say they will convey it to him. Hey, that's all I can get. As I said, I'm not part of his team. Okay, so I don't expect. I would love for him to call or someone say, "Okay, Mr. Cummings is here. He would like to meet you," or a second, person call and say, or 10 person call and say, "Oh, we talked to Mr. Cummings, but he said he's happy that Hey, so that's why I'm so shocked that people are see this reaction,
Mm-hmm.
Because no one, in fact, sometimes I say that what I'm doing here is useless. It doesn't it's making no impact. Okay, but all of a sudden, you see all these people, some attacking me, some cursing me, all this stuff. But the thing I want to say is, Mr. Cummings would not be the only leader when he win the presidency that will ever work with all the people. I bet my life on it. He will not do it. Okay? And you hear other people saying, maybe you didn't hear one. They said, Mr. Cummings is like Jesus Christ. He came for the sick. Equating these charlatan people as the sick people. Jesus Christ didn't come for these kind of people. These people we are talking about, they are Pharisees of our days. Okay? When Jesus Christ went in the synagogue, the Pharisee was selling, cheating. What did he do? He didn't say, "Hey, guys, just stop, let's have a beer here. Oh, we are the same people." No. He whipped them out of his father's house and said, "You have turned my father's house into a den of thieves." So they're making all these different things. These are all opinions that can build Liberia. That's what I was saying. We need to recognize the framework of the law of our country and use that framework of the law that's the only way you can unite people.
Since you register your disagreement, have you gotten any feedback from Mr. Cummings or any higher up in the ANC or CPP?
Higher up. Well, I know people very close to him. Now, I don't know why I will use the term higher up. They have called me, So I'm sure he's concerned, and that's concerned. He's aware of my position. Okay, because these people, they sometimes convey message for him, say this is what Mr. Cummings is doing, and he won't know. So I assume that because what I do in this role as an independent supporter of Mr. Cummings, I love that because I know it's for Liberia. It's not personal, Say I got to see that man before I do anything. Now, would I refuse if he called me one day and said, "Patrick, I want to talk to you"? he will be coming here. He's in Canada. He was next to be. I would not refuse. But I'm not that, in that position. I have to see this man before I do anything, because frankly speaking, I'm probably not doing this for him. I'm doing it for Liberia. Okay?
So I follow some of the reactions, and one of those say, Patrick is looking for attention because he's a big, he's a heavyweight, and maybe Mr. Cummings has not personally called him or invited him in the fold. That's why he's making all this noise. What do you say to that?
That's a funny one. I'm looking for notice. I'm not looking for notice. No, I already got notice. I read on social media. The people cuss me up and call me up. That's notice. We all the notice we're talking about.
But are you angry with Mr. Cummings?
No, I'm not angry with Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is a nice person. I grew up partially in Grand Gila County, right? And maybe last year or maybe early this year, an elderly man called me from Grand Gila County who knew my mom and my stepdad. And he said, the thing we want to tell our children to vote for Cummings. Okay? Because he's a person that he like a role model. We will be encouraging our young people to vote for him from Grand Gila County. Yeah, I wrote about that on Facebook too. So, hey, they got nothing to be with want to get notice and all that. No.
Let's read some comments, Mr. Tuon, and then we're going to be opening our phone lines to take some calls. If you are here and you want to participate in the discussion, ask Mr. Tuon some questions here. The number is on the screen, 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#. Better still, you can write your comment. I see a couple of comments here. Galakba James Colley said, Mr. Cummings is not honest to himself and the Liberian people that wish he would find it too difficult to become president in Liberia. This one from, I believe this is Prince William. He said, he also said he will build a big tent where everyone is welcome too. He also said his leadership won't provide nor support a culture of impunity. The establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code will be a major priority. The list of individuals in Alexander B. Cummings' team are all volunteers, not recruits of Cummings. They are not all members of his short list of cabinet ministers. Your response?
The last one is wrong. It was actually wrong. The last one is incorrect. Let me put it that way. Because they got whoever wrote that, they are second guessing Mr. Cummings. And the first one, I reject that too. Because they are making statement. There's no one out there who can say Mr. Cummings can win the election. No one. Only the voters.
Yeah.
So that the first statement is completely out of order. I mean, look, Liberia politics, there are new dynamics that are emerging right now. Whoever heard people being so concerned about who on a candidate team? In the past, no one cares. But because the Liberian people have been burned, have been misused, have been abused, and lied to, so everybody is sensitive now. So people should get that in their mind.
Right. And Joseph Farmer said, my people, Mr. Cummings' team is a campaign team and not an appointment to his government. And it says it's not an appointment.
What I'm saying, don't comment. How can you answer that kind of question?
I'm going to say no laws are in Liberia, but when I said someone told me it was those people right to still be part of the country politics. Patrick Tuon, again, I mean, not Prince William, I believe. Patrick Tuon, how is it contradiction and how is it inconsistent with what Mr. Cummings has promised? Are you also considering that what Mr. Cummings promised as well? He said he will build a big tent.
I disagree.
How can justice come when the new violators like PYJ and the other surrogates are still being supported and recycled?
Well, that reflects my position. So I'm with that.
Massa Washington said, "Thank you, Patrick, for speaking truth to power consistently." And by the way, Massa, happy birthday! I learned today is your birthday. Massa is how I say, when we speak of patriots, you are one of those, sir. I'm just sick to the stomach with all these people keep recycling hustlers. Elvis is saying, excellent point, Mr. Cummings. Massa, this is a long one. He said, but the alleged perpetrator, his quote, cannot have the requisite experience and knowledge either, because these people have been in every government, from rebel NPFL to Charles Taylor turned president, to Judy Bryant, to Ellen Dan Weir, and they failed in all the numerous positions they had.
Yes.
Where is the positive impact of their work on Liberia? Where is the development or positive change Louis Brown, McIntosh, Dan Murray, etc. have brought to Liberia? Let me read the last one from Lovetta. Said, Patrick Tuon is passionate about defending human rights and dignity, but his choices for presidential candidates have been poorly calculated. He has an alternative now to support Tuon Gonglo. Yeah. Everybody making their own pitch.
Yeah, I tell you.
So at this point, what do you want Mr. Cummings to do?
At this point, Mr. Cummings should recalibrate his team to reflect his message for change. This team he has is completely inconsistent with talking about change. These people victimize the people Mr. Cummings will be standing before and be talking about change. No, I give you an example. There's a place in River G they call Galao. They met 400 bodies. These people were killed on the order of Horatio Morales. Okay, Louis Brown was on the radio MPFL, and he'll be calling that the MPFL fire rockets in Monrovia. We have Mr. the NPFL, all the radio transcript is available. So I don't know what else person can do. The thing what's happening in our country is we make all kinds of excuses not to follow the law. And the people there are suffering. They can't even buy medicine, take care of themselves with medicine over the counter. Okay? 98%. There are 98% that are what you call sanctioned in the TRC report. I did saying that the 98% because of the 98%, we cannot, we shouldn't do our duty and putting together a law-abiding, government. If Mr. Cummings keep these people there, and these people become part of his government, first of all, if these people are on his team, it will weaken confidence. And by the time they get in his government, we have another government like George Weah, that Ellen Johnson. Do you know how many times Ellen Johnson talked about breaking economic development, that the TRC report would be of your distraction? She said it many times. Yeah, the country there. The United Party squandered billions of dollars on their so-called economic, property reduction strategy. Okay, so we have precedents in the past that the road Mr. Cummings is about to take is a failure.
Dr. Edison Padre will say historical impunity and impurities are the two words useful in describing the Cummings team. I thought Republic of Liberia said, long live the Republic of Liberia. Mr. Tuon, let me bring in some of our callers here. They want to, Michael Patmo, say you are second guessing Mr. Cummings that he is going to include people on the list into government position. Michael, so what do you think? You think those guys will run the campaign and just go sit down somewhere? So come again. Let's say something. But let's bring on the first caller here is Mr. Elvis Morris. Evie was not happy with me. Let me see if I redeem myself. Evie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mr. John. Thank you for taking my call. I guess you already tell like two of my boys, but let me thank the guest. I think, although I don't support Cummings, I think he's a passionate person, and I think he's a patriot. But just to come back to you, Mr. John, it's like you, whoever you support, and that person put somebody like George Bush who affects you personally during the war. And you like this person you support, but on the side of him, you got somebody who did something to you or against your family during the war. How would that make you feel? So a lot of people love Cummings. They think he's a good man, but the people that he associated himself with is a big slap in the face to most of us who see some of these people to be perpetrated against our own people, whether it's our tribe or our family or just the Liberian people in general. So I think for you trying to defend that point, Mr. John, for all the respect I have for you, I must say I was disappointed to hear that from you. And then my final point before I go ahead, you want to respond?
Yeah, you say I defend which point?
When you asked Mr. Tuon about whether, these are not Liberians, after all, they haven't gone to court, they're not found guilty. So what's wrong with them working in government? Will you really say that, Mr. John? Will you say the same thing about George Bowler or Prince YJ? And we know what these people do, not because some of us wasn't affected by them personally, but we know the crime they're accused of is not.
Mr. Morris, I have to ask the question. Those are the questions on our viewers' minds, so I have to ask them. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, but you said you gotta personalize it because you said you're also like you can't detach yourself from our current situation.
Yeah, but I have to ask the question because I can't use just my own opinion or what I believe. But thank you for your contribution.
Right. And let me get my last point please before I go. I know you were going back and forth. But my last point is just that, Mr. Cummings, we know he was going down this road. For all the little mistakes he's been making now, he's coming later into this big bad decision. So for those who support Cummings, I'm sure people will be coming on the line after. I want to explain this away and tell us what's the logic behind it. Thank you again, Mr. Jai. Even though I was disappointed in that comment, but thank you for kicking up.
Thank you. Always here. Let's go to Mr. Cyrus Snare. Cyrus, you're live. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis, for the opportunity afforded me. And let me say thank you to your guest for the early manner in which you sending your questions. However, I am disappointed in many of our politicians and many of our scholars, in the sense that even though he supports Cummings, because according to him, Cummings is the person who, based on his platform, based on his ideology, based on his achievement that he brings to leadership, he selected, he chose Cummings as this quote-unquote new guy falling from heaven, coming to earth to transform our country. But if you look at the decisions that Cummings continue to make, some of which he's speaking against today, but yet he still believes that this same Cummings he knew yesterday, who came for a purpose, who is a new guy in the Liberian politics. There are a lot of quote-unquote corrupt guys. Like, take for example, people like Musa Belete, Hassan Belete, is around the Cummings guy. And I guess based on his association, he started breaking some of those guys, quote-unquote, from Grand Bassa with the hope of maybe getting some votes and other stuff from Grand Bassa. But these guys have some scars on them in terms of where our country is today. But yet still, he still fully believes that Cummings is a great guy. That's part of the failed decision he has made. These guys did not bring themselves to quote-unquote Cummings or wasn't appointed by themselves. They were appointed by Cummings. So based on his decision, does he still believe that Cummings has the guts, Cummings has the materials, Cummings has the thing to be able to transform our country?
Thank you.
With all of the mistakes that he has seen and is speaking against, is he still remaining put with the idea that Cummings can transform the country?
Thank you, Mr. Tuon. Please jot down that question. Do you still believe Mr. Cummings is the real change with everything that he has done so far? Let me take Ambrose Calon. Ambrose, you are live. Go ahead, sir. Last four. Yeah, go ahead. You're live. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, how you? I'm calling from Kentucky, Louisville. And thank you for the shows and thank you for the topic. But, I have a little bit, and your senior guest, I would love to ask him a question. One, I'm disappointed with Mr. Cummings that I do support him. I have contributed numerous times to his campaign, but I just a little bit disappointed because, you can't see you bringing change and you're constantly in the habit of bringing the same old guys or same previous government and I'm trying to believe, I think everybody that just wants to take power because they hate Korea or they just see Korea is not competent, was not supposed to be president. That's why all of them having to take it out. So I'm a little bit disappointed where the Cummings is constantly breaking all hands around him. It makes me feel like.
Ambrose, you still there? We're losing you.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Please, there are more callers coming, so if you can conclude quickly.
Yeah, and so I'm a little bit disappointed with the appointment of the past government official or old hands that he keeps associating himself with. And secondly, the gentleman in the studio, I know he said he grew up partially in Grand Theater. So my question to him, I wonder if he would law for Judge Bullet to be considered one of those that are supposed to be representatives or was supposed to be close to the same standard as Prince Johnson or anyone that took part into the war or had a war factor. Because personally, I'm affected. My mom and dad died in that war. So someone we don't go around with history or say we hate certain people. But my mom and dad was killed in that war.
Thank you. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yes. Well, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. We got a lot of callers here calling, so let's go quickly. My next caller here is 763 area code 4147. Your last digit. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Michael Padmore. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Hey, Mike, go ahead, sir.
I don't so much as have a question for the guest, but I do have an input.
Sure.
The first thing is that Mr. Cummings has made several proclamations. Okay, and amongst those is the Big Tent theory, where he's willing to work with everybody. It's not okay when you select which part of his program that you accept and then you choose to ignore the other parts. Our guest has talked about how Mr. Cummings talks about, wanting to change Liberia, wanting to be the change, but then he ignores the part where Mr. Cummings says that he's willing to work with everybody.
What does that mean, Mr. Padmore? Willing to work with everybody?
That means that anybody and everybody who is willing to assist or to work with him in bringing change and do that with integrity and honesty, he is willing to work with them. Mm-hmm. That's what that means. It's going to take all Liberians to change Liberia. There's nowhere where you can select a specific group of people and think that that's what's going to change Liberia. You can't leave anybody behind. If you truly want to change Liberia for the better, there's this theory that people have, Mrs. Cummings wants to bring change. Yes, but you cannot govern unless you are elected. If you don't win, you don't get a chance to govern. The team that has been created is a political team that has been put together to run a political campaign. It is not his cabinet. Nobody over there is a public works minister. Nobody over there is minister of health or minister of gender. That's a political team. Those people have political influence. Thank you.
Including Daniel Chia. All right. Let's take Dennis.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Your name, sir, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, my name is Will. I'm calling from Texas.
Go ahead, Will.
You know, I just want to say thanks and big up to Patrick for standing against, wrongdoing. I've been following him for a while now, and he's a big Cummings supporter. You know, Liberians around here saying that those guys are just there to run his campaign. But any Liberian with a common sense would know that all of those guys on that list will, if Cummings win election tomorrow, they will be working in Cummings government. Except you're just naive or maybe you just a blind loyalist to Cummings. But if Cummings wins tomorrow, that entire list will be in Cummings government. There is no if, but, and maybe. Those guys are not going to work for free. In politics, it's about interest. And those guys' interest is not Liberia. It's themselves. So, they call seditions sycophants, but they don't look in the mirror to see themselves as a sycophant when these kind of things happen. So I just want to say, Patrick should keep doing what he's doing. And, do the right thing and let us change our birth tomorrow instead of supporting wrongdoing every time because it is your man. Everybody support the owner criminal. Everybody, if that criminal is mine, he's a good criminal. If the criminal is yours, then he's a bad criminal. If that's the case, then our brother's not going to change.
Thank you. Thank you, Will.
All right, thank you.
Let me bring on Vafi Kava. Vafi.
Yes. Hello. My name is Vafi Kava. I'm from Michigan. Yeah, thanks for the show. Yeah, appreciate it, Dennis. And my question here is that I think if you look at Liberia political, I think I said this before just a disclosure, I support ANC. But if you look at the political arena, the three top leaders right now, George Weah, Weka, and Mr. Cummings. If you go to Joe Weah have warlord. I would consider her warlord. The VP, you got Prince White Johnson supporting him. You got Eugene Namba, who was accused of being in war too. If you go to Joe Weka, you got some people who were part of the war and had some unethical behavior. Someone there who was even naked in the cell on video. And then you got Bernard Ure supporting Joe Weah. Now we're talking about Mr. Cummings. So the point I'm trying to make here is these are the three people. Regardless of what we do, one of them is going to become president for Liberia again. Mm-hmm. So with Patrick, I just want to know from you, from a political standpoint, can you name me? I saw someone made a post, and that's what I'm repeating. Can you name me 5 political influencers in Liberia that are clean, like to your standard? Because you are saying that Louis Brown and all those guys that Mr. Cummings selected, they are criminal, they shouldn't be part of political. So if Mr. Cummings want to win, and this is politics, he's trying to win election. So are you telling me that none of these people should participate? So can you name me 5 political influencers in Liberia that can bring vote to any of these political leaders that are clean in Liberia? Because remember, one of these guys is going to become president.
Thank you. So
for your country, who will you recommend, Patrick, to be president for Liberia comes 2023? Who will you recommend?
So before you go, Vavi, are you saying those 5 people, do you consider them political influencers?
Well, everybody, Bernard Ure has an influencer. If Bernard Ure has an influence in Liberia, he brings votes. White Johnson has an influence. He bring both. Louis Brown has an influence. He bring both votes. Donnie Chair has an influence. He bring votes. They bring votes. They all bring votes. All these guys I just named, they bring votes to each of the candidates.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear. Let me take the last caller here, and Jackson Z, I believe.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Hey, Dennis, how you doing, man?
Good.
It's one of my first time calling on your show.
Thank you, Jackson.
But I'm kind of amazed, let me give my little piece, and then I kind of didn't start the program today from the beginning because of work, but I wanted to just give my little contribution. Well, in Liberia, Dennis, we're so divided to the point that everybody thinks right, in my opinion, right? We have 16 tribes. If you take the Igbos that just joined us and the Fulani, we got 18. Major tribe. When we were growing up, that's what we learned in school, right? So now we got 18 tribes. So divided. Less than 5 million people. We all know each other. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. We all friends. But the politics, what I don't get in Liberia today, politics is that everybody, if you don't support somebody, the other person support somebody, you're big enemies. To the point that they want to eliminate you by all costs. And I think we can have all the differences, but we should be able to cater to our one patrimony, our one matrimony. This is our home. This is what we call Liberia. We have opinions, differences in how to develop the country. Let's come to Cummings, The whole thing you're talking about, look, when Nelson Mandela took over in South Africa, he could have killed all the white people. One of his philosophy was, we cannot treat the other people the same way they treated us. We have to welcome there. We want to change this country. And we all know the history. I'm not going to go through that.
Right.
Cummings is coming. It's not about one big thing. Everybody can operate under it. He said no. They make one battle warlord. What are you going to deal with in Nigeria? They are not opinion leaders today. That is not connected to the war to some extent. But we got to move forward. We got to pass this. They're blaming each other every now and then. We have to pass it. If we can't pass it, my brother, we're just wasting our time.
Yeah. There
are 3 main people in this race. One of them will become president.
Yeah. Vavi, before you go.
Can you identify that person? The last caller was very good. Can you identify anybody who, especially with the people that are not warlords?
Right.
You can't. So we should stop these bickering of this, that, and this, that. So Dennis, let me not take all your time, man, but I'm Jackson.
Right.
I just wanted to contribute to this. This is my first time calling on the radio, and I will listen to your show. So I just wanted to get that little contribution. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. But Jackson, before you go, this thing that of the 5 million Liberians, everybody is warlord, everybody is tinted, or almost everybody is tinted. Where does that come from? Liberians are good people.
Exactly. You know where it comes from?
Right.
Because everybody want to get rich quick. The only way you get rich
there are plenty of good people that have nothing to do with the war, that are not mentioned in the TRC, that did not take part. So
absolutely, and I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you, guys. But listen now, when you bring up people that say these people you don't know them, somebody that come from America or somebody that come from overseas. Now, we all fought the war.
No, we didn't. No, we did not. We all did not fight the war.
Yeah.
When I said we all fought the war, I mean we all suffered the brunt of the war.
Oh, okay, yeah, we fought.
Your family got affected to some extent.
Thank you.
Let me say, some of us, when I say for the war, we all got affected to some extent. Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm not saying people I said so God. No, we didn't do that.
Thank you.
But we got to know each other. When you beat another person, say you don't know it. If person don't know, come start knowing. If you bring people who know and know people, then they say no. I mean, what is that? Where we're going?
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sometimes the issue is not that you bring them, but anyway, let me let the guests respond. You have a lot of callers. The first question was, with all the mistakes that Mr. Cummings have made, the caller said there were a lot of mistakes. You have just come to one. He said, are you still supporting? Are you still put to say you are talking about Louis Brown and the rest of it, since you have some connection with Grand Jide? What's about Judge Bullet? Will you say the same thing against Judge Bullet? 3, there was also a question.
Can I answer them one at a time?
All right, go ahead.
Okay. The first question, whether I still support Mr. Cummings in spite of this. Yes, I support Mr. Cummings because I know this is an error. that he will recognize and maybe make some adjustment. I already make it public that he need to recalibrate his team, because it's hard to overlook these guys in a team that is yelling for change. It's hard to overlook people who were the organizer of the poverty that what people are suffering from, and at the same time benefited from that. All these guys are rich people. So why you keep putting them, giving them the money? Give other people money. People learn. Mr. Cummings is learning politics now. We're not going to say, okay, Cummings should not win, so they give it to Baka because Baka have experience, he been there. No. So that justification that Mr. Cummings gave now, I disagree with that.
All right, Judge Bole.
Well, I have a whole website. It's called liberiahr.campaign.net. liberiahrcampaign.net. And then every warlord I ever can think about, I have the profile on that. Yeah. Liberia, human rights. But HR, so for HR campaign.
So the next question is Mr. Cummings' Big Tent theory, right? He's willing to work with everybody.
The Big Tent, I will equate that to working for everybody. Working for everybody, to help everybody. Not to work with everybody. You see, that's a big difference. He want to grow the economy. He said the bowl is too, narrow, and only a few people can put their hand in there. So he want to expand the economy so more people will be able to put their hands in there. Yeah, that's the website. Okay, anything you ever want to know about the Liberian war is there.
All right.
So what's the next question?
Mr. Cummings, equate liking Liberia to a big bowl of rice. So that's what you were saying. Okay. You also say the people you see there, they are not cabinet members. They are just for the campaign. That's one of the questions.
Well, I answered that question earlier, but
right, and they say, name me 5 persons that are not that have political influence and are not tinted.
Well, that's a question that they're not running for president. They're not running for president. So why you want to put that in the ear of political stuff? If they were running for president, then I would say, well, these are the people. But you say 5 people that think we got 5. Well, by the end of in the middle of this, by the time we get in the middle of the campaign, we probably will have my guess now, it will be 18 to 22 presidential candidates.
Okay. And so the flip side of it that what Agnes is saying, Liberia is not full of angels. In other words, there are plenty of bad people in Liberia, so you can't really pick a campaign team without some people being there who are bad or who have linked with some evil past.
But you answer that question, fairly, that it's not everybody in Liberia not bad. Most of the people we are hearing about are bad. This is why in Liberia, let me say this: anything that is popular in Liberia, popular is bad. Anybody that is popular, every time you hear the name, they're bad. That's what we say. So these few people names we'll be hearing about, we are saying that they were part of the war. And some of us, we have no regard for those people. You killed my people, you raped women, you didn't care at that time. We are all Liberians. Then time for you to account for your sin, your crime, then you say we are all Liberians. It's twisted. I can't accept that.
Miata Dakina say, I would never take Mr. Cummings over Mama Liberia, but I believe in his ability to do the right thing for the Liberian people and Mama Liberia. And I have spoken to a couple of Cummings supporters. They say, Well, I don't know whether this is the right decision, but I know Mr. Cummings is not a foolish person. He's not going to do something stupid. Let me put it that way. So whatever decision he takes, I'm with him. Or Mr. Cummings is a good guy, so there is, even if those guys are bad, they are not going to overpower him. He was still going to do the right thing, and when they are in his government, he's going to keep them straight. Those are the kind of and I'm speaking to what Miata said, and I'm adding more of what I've been hearing. Well, what's your response?
My response would be that Mr. Cummings, as I said, I can put my neck on the jack pinball for Mr. Cummings because of his integrity, honesty, and kindness. But Mr. Cummings will not be in every ministry. He won't be in every direct. All the agencies will be manned by people, not Mr. Cummings. So how can you say by relying on Mr. Cummings that means anybody he brings that's fine? No, because look at what we're seeing here now. The people he appointed now. Okay, these people work for another government, and while the leader was there, they did things that were very, corrupt and ignored a lot of different. They were so insensitive. Look, if you're working in a government, I don't care how much you love the government, you love the leader. If something in government wrong, speak out. Our Liberian politicians, they don't do that. They just enjoy the thing, make the little money, and they get out. So it is the same thing they want us to do with Mr. Cummings. I said no. Okay?
It's name 5 individuals that could help Mr. Cummings with the campaign that are not tainted.
Well, as I said, I don't believe Mr. Cummings should work with everybody. So right now, I don't know who are, I'm not recruiting, I'm not his recruiter, so I can't answer that question. But the thing here is, there are good people in Liberia.
Yeah, I believe that too. Emmanuel Smith said I should read his question. He said, okay, some of you guys didn't take gun to physically to shoot, but supported rebellion group. What difference between what? I'm not even completing that question. I'm always upset by such a question that even including us, the victims, you say, oh, all of us supported the war. That's not right. And Liberia is now the only country where there has been war. So in which country we have war and everybody is indicted as being part of the war? Yeah, let's raise the discussion and let us not include people. I mean, I have written extensively about my experience in the war. So a lot of things, bad things went on. I mean, we're on that road. I was 1990, 1992, and 1996. I was always leaving Monrovia to exile. And you tell me I'm responsible for that? Get out of here. All right.
But you see, this is what I'm saying, Jack. We follow a lot of opinions. Everybody have their opinions. You will never build Liberia, but no country has ever been built on opinions. So we have a framework. I told you the 3 documents I gave you. We have our constitution. Okay? Why don't we deal with our disagreement within the constitution rather than all these opinions that are not driven with facts? Of course, that's what opinion is. So some of the argument we are arguing, they are useless. They don't help the country. Okay? Let respect our law. That's the first thing. They want to unite our country, respect the law. Okay.
If you have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Cummings when he comes to the States, what will you tell him?
If I have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Cummings,
face to face, what will you tell him?
Exactly what I'm saying. I disagree with the Team Cummings composition, and I will specifically name certain people.
And if he doesn't do anything about it, what will be your next action?
Well, the other thing I have any action I want to take, but what I would do is when it comes to that point, one day things go wrong, I will say, I told you so. You understand?
Right.
I call in 2009, I called for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to resign. I had an interview on VOA and I called for her resignation. A lot of people were not happy over it. I told them, sir, if Madam Sirleaf don't resign and don't implement the TRC report, her government will fail. Okay, I said that. Same thing with George Weah. I said George Weah, when he made that, blunder about the TRC, I said the government will fail because what many people don't know, they don't know the impact not implementing the TRC report is having on our country. We are a pariah nation in the international community. The people Liberia not sitting on that table will say global village. We are not there yet because we are not implementing our international agreements. Liberia signed over 22 international treaties. 22. We are violating all of them.
Right. Thank you, Patrick. One thing I want to make clear is most of the times these things don't come up until the person we support pick these people. I believe if these people were on another team, the same people that are talking about this big tank theory will be up in arms criticizing. And that's the sad story about Liberia. I remember when ANC had this thing with the ALP and the Unity Party. And Benina Ure, who is in the TRC report, just like Louis Brown, was being berated by the ANC Secretary, Councillor Aloysius Tuon. Take a listen.
Kosa quote up lies and said the worst and most nasty things about Mr. Cummings. As bizarre as these characterizations of Mr. Cummings may be, we are forced to wonder. And we ask you, ladies and gentlemen, and the public, to join us in a united chorus in wondering. Between Cummings and Ure, as evidenced by their life history and confirmed by records of the United Nations and other international sources, who is best fitted as a fraud, a cheat, and an unpardonable criminal. Yet, Kosa never has and never will raise his mouth against his ALP puppet master Ure. Between Cummings and Ure, who has the international press doomed as merchant of death, yet Kosa never has and never will raise his mouth against his ALP puppet master Ure. Between Cummings and Ure, who has the United Nations accused of being an arms dealer to kill women and children, and is a money launderer, yet Kosa never has and never will raise his mouth against his ALP puppet master Ure. Between Cummings and Ure, who greased the monstrous killing machine of Charles Taylor in this country, yet Kosa never has and never will raise his mouth against his ALP puppet master Ure. Between Cummings and Kosa's ALP puppet master Ure, who did section 9.9 of the TRC report accused of using inhumane tactics and economic crimes to seize upon the chaos and strife in Liberia, to gain power and to amass wealth, and prolong and exacerbate the country. Yet Henry Kosa never has and never will raise his mouth against Ure. Between Cummings and Kosa's ALP puppet master Ure, who did the United Nations and the United States imposed travel ban and asset freeze on in the year 2000.
So you hear right? Who greased the monstrous killing machine?
Yeah.
Who the TRC ban?
When I heard that, I was wiping my eyes, cleaning my ears. Am I hearing something? Because all the things he listed there, it was there where CPP were formed. Okay, that's it. We are witnessing here with these people on the tape. Okay, when it hit, when the thing hit, when they said the shit hit the fan on this team, we start hearing, they'll start saying the things that we are saying now against these people. Okay? Banana Europe been in a situation long before CPP was founded. I wrote on that. I spoke with people in CPP. You can't do this. Cummings cannot be part of this group. The same, reaction I'm getting now, that's what I got.
And that's the problem with you too, Mr. You keep saying this thing, Mr. Cummings keep going against them, and you keep supporting him. So what is driving this?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. People said this to me. CPP. What's going on now? Hassan Benete. Hassan Benete was indicted by LACC. $300,000 tax fraud. We're not talking about the FIFA thing where they ban him. But Mr. Cummings, he keep associating with these people. I agree with you.
And you keep associating with him.
No, okay. I keep supporting him because I said his ideas. Okay. Now, we are at a point now where these ideas, we're going to have people who faces will want to be associated with these ideas. And that's what we are rejecting. The ideas are good, but we can't allow these people to be the face of that idea. So, hey, things happen.
Yeah.
Okay? We can get to a point where,
What would be that point? What would be Tuon's last straw that break this back from supporting Cummings?
The last straw from the support Cummings, to stop supporting Cummings, right?
Yeah.
Well, the last straw would be my conscience.
And where is that now?
Well, my conscience at the point now where I'm looking up to Mr. Cummings to make some adjustment. You can't just throw the bathtub or the towel inside, just go. Okay.
So look at these last questions. Achimbo Frederick said, Dennis Ja, politics makes strange bad fellows. Welcome to the world of politics, and Liberians home and abroad are no different. It's the same thing. When they join CPP, they say, oh, it's politics makes bad fellows.
Yeah.
When it got rough, then we heard what Councillor Tuon was saying.
Yeah.
All the things that they knew before.
Yeah.
And Thomas Awaji is saying, he said, Patrick, you've been telling Cummings not to do something. He keeps denying your advice, doing the same thing, yet you keep supporting him. Maybe you are doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Well, that's a good point there. But these people, that Unity Party, man, that you want to come join Unity Party.
No.
Not my Bwaka do the same thing over and over. He still supporting Bwaka, Yeah, but you see, as I said, look, if nobody wants to give me credit, that's fine. At least I express my view.
Yeah.
Okay, I express my view. I disagree with Mr. Cummings' team Cummings. So if any other decision follow, they'll say, hey, he said it. But I don't want to be a coward, because I don't want to leave Mr. Cummings, so I'll keep my mouth silent. Okay? This guy had been putting his heart out, say he bringing change to Liberia. People are embracing. And we're about to take the guy to the finishing line. Guess he did this. This was shocking.
Mm. I
would never thought Mr. Cummings would appoint, Horatio Moriah. I'm from Maryland County. He will not win. Horatio Moriah will not win. Last election, he didn't win.
Yeah.
Okay? ANC got to be careful. If they put Horatio Moriah on their ticket, it will be another embarrassing situation. ANC will not win Maryland County on the senatorial ticket now. Right. Okay? Because the people know who he is. And not only I alone, they guys linked to killers in that area.
Right.
So
thank you. So because this whole thing, this Thursday, that is tomorrow, What should we do with our warlords and their associates? That is the question we're going to be answering on Tough Talking Thursday.
Yeah,
Talking
that's a
Charlie
good
from
topic.
the ANC, the independent Mahdi Ahmed Saleh, the independent Mohammed Sharif, the ANC, Jonathan Dolakai, our former TRC Commissioner Massa Washington, and Gonglo supporter or LPP Ekena Wesley. They will all be here to answer this question on Tough Talking Thursday. 19 years after our uncivil war, what should we do with our warlords and the people who supported them?
Yeah.
Will we always be reacting to this thing because Liberians will keep quiet when Cummings appoint them? Then everybody, oh, what are you doing to hold these people accountable? Or are you only waiting for political leaders?
But Mr. Jai, you know that I've been with this war crime code.
Yeah, I know that. So let's conclude for tonight.
So the war crime code now just got, moved a little bit. Let me say that. The ambassador for war crime at the State Department was in Liberia last week, and she said America is willing to pay for the war crime court in Liberia. The European Union have already made that same commitment. So right now we have 3 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council that are supporting the Liberian war crime effort. That's the UK, United States, and France. So we are with the US behind and the lady, she didn't bite her tongue. She said it have to happen. So we are looking forward to a resolution in the UN Security Council that will give the go-ahead, because that's where we kick things up. And with the US, supporting these 3 powers, US, France, and UK, they have veto power. And then Russia and China. China always abstaining, so they may not block it. But hey, whether who block it or not, it's going to go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Tuon, thank you so much for coming to. We hope to get you back and hear more actions and your opinion on these issues. Again,
you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Our viewers for
I'm
all
open anytime.
Yeah. So let's get your closing comments before we close. And Dr. Dukley say, UP has Ure, CDC has Joe Howard Taylor, ANC has Louis Brown. So equal, no pattern, right?
Yeah, you see, but
I think the Grand Jury Superintendent, Kai Fale, the Sino Superintendent, they are all MPFL guys. So
yeah,
I use a phrase: will Mr. Cummings out rebel appoint Mr. Weir? So you got your own rebels.
It could be. Hey, in Weir.
Let's get your closing comments so we can draw down the curtain.
Oh, okay. My closing comment is back to a thing I was saying. Our country just came out of a war. It had been 19 years. And usually the period that follow crisis like this become the period of prosperity in most countries. Because those people, they learn lesson. They will say, okay, we don't want to go back to war. So those things that brought this trouble, we have to correct them. Reconstruction, reconciliation, those 2 things, if we don't do them, anybody can promise us anything they want to promise us. Our country will still suffer. As I said, I respect Mr. Cummings, but if Mr. Cummings don't implement the TRC report, he won't draw the international confidence. Even Coca-Cola will not come to Liberia to invest. Right now, there are no credible investor in Liberia right now, because countries that want to make business in Liberia, they are coming from countries where they respect the law. So why they should send their citizens in a country that don't respect the law, especially the international obligation? So to our friends and brothers and sisters out there, we are not doing this thing out of, spite. We are saying that our country need to move forward. And the thing that holding our country backwards is impunity. That's why the TRC report said was the cause of the war of violence in Liberia, impunity. Do you know who I am? Who are you? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tuon. We want to thank you highly for coming and freely expressing your opinion. That's why we are here, to educate, to elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Join us tomorrow for Tough Talking Thursday, Friday for the Literary Hour, Saturday for the Business Economic Forum, and Sunday for more shows here at Focus on Liberia. I want to thank our viewers and even those who will watch later. We never conclude a broadcast here without playing our song that says we are all Liberians. Whether you support Mr. Cummings, Mr. Boakai, Mr. Gonglo, Mr. Weir, Mr. Ja, or Mr. Tuon, whoever you support, we are all Liberians. And let us do whatever it takes to make our country the glorious land of liberty. Have a good night, and may God bless you.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.